Yes, indeed, that time has come. We finally have it here, the new RUKKA Nivala jacket. And, ladies and germs, this is the real deal. So, don't expect any snap judgments here, just the facts. Now obviously the Nivala was a very, very popular jacket and a lot of people were really excited and couldn't wait to get their hands on the aptly named Nivala 2. And aptly named because it is an upgrade, it's an evolution, not something that is, say, completely brand new, but it's taken what they had before and just making it better and better and better, and that is what we're going to show you here today. So, let's have a look at the outer here. Now, the majority of the outer is actually made from GoreTex Stretch Cordura. Now this is the material that helps to make this so comfortable despite it being a laminated jacket. And the important part, i.e. the important part, if you have a little whoopsie, is the armor core, and that is on the shoulders here and on the elbows. If anything is going to happen to you, these are the points that are probably going to hit the deck first, so this is where it needs this kind of armor here. You don't need the stretchy stuff here, you need the stretchy stuff all the way around the rest of the thing to make it more comfortable, and you need the armor core here and here to save your ass if it all goes wrong. Having a look at the styling, things have changed quite a bit. So for example, were I to spin around, you may think, oh, where's the big R gone? Well, there is a reason for this. Now, because RUKKA is basically about the best textile clothing you can get, inevitably you get a lot of imitators. And what imitators will try and do quite often is kind of roughly get a logo that looks a little bit like perhaps a RUKKA or somebody else better than them, and that way they're kind of riding on the coattails of RUKKA. Now, what they decided to do was, you know what? We need to swap this up, we need to change, we need to make it so that we are recognizable again and we don't look similar to other, probably inferior products. So, on the orange, the yellow, the black and the silver version, we have the lines here. Now, if you go to the back here, again, this is all reflective, even the black. So what they're doing is they're basically going down a completely different road. They're essentially rebranding the Nivala, and I think it works. Continuity cock-up alert, because look, it's suddenly turned yellow. Yes, indeed. Remember me banging on a minute ago about the big R and some people having a little weep that it's gone, even though RUKKA are doing basically the right thing of rebranding. Well, Bikerheadz tends to sell a crap ton of these things here, which is the fluoro, hello, look at me, notice me kind of thing. And guess what's on the back, guys? There's a big R. So if you do want the Nivala, but you're having a little cry about the fact there's not a big R on the back anymore, this thing here is what you're after. So what are the vents like on the Nivala? Well, I'm going to start at the rear for this one, and we have two exhaust vents, one here, like so, and one there, to exit all your nasty hotness. Now, we also have some vents here, up by the shoulders. We have excellent side vents, which let in actually quite a decent volume of air, considering they're from the side. Okay, so as you can see, there's the vent here, which will help cool in your arms and on your underarms as well. You might be looking at this and thinking, you know, it's not open, but see, like this, yeah, but who rides a bike like this? Nobody does. What you do is you lift your arm up like that, and as you can already see, even without an arm in it, it has opened. So when you ride it like you're on a motorbike, it opens and lets in the lovely cool air. So this is a thoroughly vented and exhausted jacket, and it is a big upgrade on the first Nivala. Now, as well as the Stretch Cordura, which is a big deal, the kind of biggest deal, kind of for me when it comes to these kind of jackets, is the GoreTex Pro 3-layer laminate. That kind of is everywhere. This is what kind of keeps you warm. It also, if you leave your vents open, won't keep you dry. So just as an FYI, if you've got your vents open and it starts raining, You need to close them up or you will get wet. And we have the two outer pockets. Now, these are also GoreTex laminate lined as well. So it's not, I haven't just kind of left the pockets as a bit of an afterthought. They've actually put some thought into it. And they have these kind of semi-waterproof zips. They are waterproof. We tend to say this a lot here on Bikerheadz. They are waterproof, but they cannot guarantee that the meat bag is going to do it up properly, because sometimes people just leave a tiny little bit at the top, the water seeps in, and then so it's more water resistant than waterproof. So long as you're not a dipstick, waterproof, dipstick, water resistant. That's it. The eagle-eyed among you will notice we have the storm collar fitted here. Now this is attached to the jacket. The previous jacket was a kind of zippy affair, but much like the water-resistant pockets not being properly waterproof because of a meat bag, it's usually the meat bag that takes the storm collar off, puts it down somewhere and goes, "Ooh, shiny thing," runs off, forgets it, loses it, and you couldn't really get replacements bar stealing your mates off his. This comes attached and it folds up into the collar. I've actually had some experience of a RUKKA jacket with a folded one, and I've actually never taken it out. But one thing I can say is it's not uncomfortable. So that is an important point. I've never once thought about the neck with its thingy stuffed in there. It's been absolutely fine. But I will use it one day, I promise. I keep telling the Bikerheadz guys, they keep saying, "Oh, it's raining, why don't you use it?" And I usually forget, to be honest with you, but it is there. It attaches really nicely and it folds up brilliantly back into the collar. And while it may seem a faff initially, it's like a muscle memory. Find out how to do it 2 or 3 times and you'll be able to do it real quick. Now, if I open the collar here as well, one thing we will see, as well as some very good kind of waterproofing here, is, see this little bit of Velcro? Are you looking? That is like a park system for that. And that you might go, well, what's going on? Well, if you're a hipster type with a big beard kind of thing, that will stop your beard and the crumbs that are in it probably from sticking to the jacket. So it's a tiny little thing. It's a tiny little USP, but it's a good one. Actually, whilst I have this kind of storm covery thing here open, it is worth pointing out a couple of things. Now, on the Nivala, it had a kind of similar arrangement with this waterproof zip, but what it didn't have was this double system, and that certainly wasn't GoreTex all the way. So that's GoreTex all the way there and over, it lips over. The same on this side too. And this basically forms like a guttering system so the water can come in and it just will run down. And the bonus is it looks, I think, twice as smart when on. Very kind of space 1999 and cool. And one reason, as I open up here, one reason RUKKA decided to make this change was on the Nivala, people were just using them so much and not washing them that dirt and grit and stuff was getting into the zips and stuff. It was just making it slightly less waterproof than it should do. And Bikerheadz know this because they've had the stuff back, they've looked at it, as have RUKKA, and this is why we've ended up with this arrangement here. But what we're going to do right now is dive straight in and look at a bit of orange loveliness. Are we ready? Hello. Now this is D30 chest protector, which is, it's basically, you can take it at the flap is sewn in, but the actual chest protector itself can be removed, although I have no idea why you would want to do that. Well, actually, before I dive into the elbows and stuff, it is worth pointing out as well, the reason that this is, the chest protector holder is stuck in is because on the previous jacket, it wasn't. People were removing stuff, and much like losing the storm collar, they were losing those. But now it ain't going anywhere, but you can still remove it if you really want to, but this stays in here and just folds away if you don't want a chest protector. Why wouldn't you? But anyway, right now, one big upgrade over the original Nivala is basically all the armour is now level 2 D30, and it is substantial, let me tell you, because it's basically see this here, this is also D3 arm, and this is roughly what you may get in a jacket one may go and buy that uses D3 arm, and you feel it and you think, well, that's kind of good, that's, you know, that's kind of chunky. Well, there's the difference. Other people, RUKKA, other people. Now you tell me there's a comparison. There is a fully waterproof inside pocket right here, and whilst I remember actually to go with the two water resistant pockets on the outside, I forgot to tell you, a large rear pocket here which can be accessed by a zip right there. They call it a documents pocket, but as you can see, if I put my hand in, there's actually quite a lot of space in there for, well, quite frankly, whatever you need to put in there or whatever you need to hide from somebody else. But hey, that's all on you. Now, one big change over the Nivala 1 is the down jacket. Okay, one thing to start off with, it looks very different, which I'll get back to in a moment. It is 90% down, 10% feather, but the crucial thing here is it is slightly longer. It's like an inch longer, and who doesn't want an extra inch, eh? So, is this a problem? Not if you get the sizing correct. And here's the even more important bit. I wear one like the last one. For that particular one, in a particular jacket I was wearing, it needed to be just a tiny bit shorter, but one place where it is too short was here. And the other thing about it is I would not put it on and wear it around town because I look like I should be little boxing from a 90s rave. And they were fun though, right? Back in the day, you guys, you know. But this thing, I would happily pop this on and actually wear it around, and it looks like a proper jacket. It doesn't look like I've borrowed somebody's jacket that's a size too small for me. And that is a big bonus, and I like it. Now, obviously we have the double cuff here, which folds back like something. And what that is for is you can pop your glove in there, pop this over, zip it up, and it stops the rain from getting in your gloves. Now, this is a bit of a take it or leave it thing. On the Kingsley that I wear, I tend to wear gloves with reasonably big things, and only when it's really raining I will squeeze it in. Otherwise, I don't. But the whole point is, it's a genius idea, and it's there if you need it. If you want it and you can make use of it, brilliant. If you don't use it. But it's there. And on a lot of other jackets, it ain't. Now, size-wise, this is available in sizes 36 to 56, and for us UKers, that is basically extra small to 7XL. Now, remember, when it comes to sizing is a guide only. I'm assuming that everyone I'm talking to here is a grown-up and pays bills and does a job and has bought clothes themselves before. And one thing you should know, if you've bought clothes yourself before, is that sizes aren't always quite the same. So you could buy a size 10 t-shirt in the UK and you kind of roughly know what you're going to get. Buy one from America, add 2 poles and you get a bloody tent. Buy one from Italy and it's like trying to squeeze on a condom. Things are different. Clothing is different. Sizing is a guide. It's not a definite, because that would be impossible to get the billions of clothing manufacturers all around the world to actually get it completely right. Right? Exactly. So what do? It's quite simple. You go to your dealer and you say, I want to try the Nivala 2, and you pop it on and say, oh, maybe I need a little bigger one, maybe I need a little smaller one. And that's how we do it. Sizing is a guide. It is not a right. Now, some of you may ask about the safety rating on this jacket, because we have the whole A, AA, all that kind of stuff going on. Now, what RUKKA do here with the Nivala is look at it slightly differently. So what they do is they make sure the jacket is built to the absolute best standard they can. They cover the bits that actually hit the ground with the correct material, which they have done. But don't forget, this is meant to be something that you move around in. But actually, hang on a minute. Hang on. This is nonsense. Do you remember the Sharp ratings for helmets, right? Where you could have a piss pot helmet that had a higher Sharp rating than a full face helmet? Is there anyone in their right mind going to believe that the piss pot is more protective than the full face helmet? They're not. And kind of what really gets my goat about this kind of thing is I don't know many people who sit there looking at ratings. Do you? So I'm just going to take my doing work for Bikerheadz hat off like a journo. Right, listen, you guys know this is a RUKKA jacket. When I was a journalist, if the opportunity came up to have a RUKKA jacket or to use a RUKKA jacket and I had to fight another journalist to the death using only sharpened chair legs, I would have done it. And why? Because it is brilliant and it's so well built. And if you honestly think that this isn't protective, or people think this isn't protective just because of that rating, it's not. With this kind of thing, you just need to say, it's RUKKA. This is a top tier product. Think of all the other top tier products you know of. You don't need to worry about the quality or the protection. You know it's there because you know it is that well built. So a bit like the sharp rating kind of thing, I think I'm on board with RUKKA with that. Sorry, do you want me to go back to talking about the jacket properly now? Now obviously, with a spec list as extensive and as exquisite as the Nivala 2, this serious upgrade on the Nivala Uno, there's only one place to go if you want more information, and that is bikerheadz.co.uk.